Hello students, we were studying chapter 2nd of history of your class from trade to territory, and today we'll discuss in this video part 4 about setting up a new administration under the British rule. In the previous video we discussed about the expansion of company rule from 1757 to 1857, approximately for 100 years, and today we will discuss about the administration system of the British. Warren Hastings, it's very important name because he played a very important role in the expansion of British power, not only in Bengal but in Bombay and Madras also. Warren Hastings became the Governor General of Bengal in 1773 to 1785. Okay, and he introduced so many reforms, administrative reforms in India. So particularly British administration was broadly divided into three parts. These were the administrative units, right? There were three administrative units. These were called presidencies. What were these called? Presidencies. And there were three presidencies: Bengal, Madras and Bombay. Three presidencies were there, and these presidencies were administered by governor. Means governor was the supreme authority of these presidencies, and these governors were under the supreme authority Governor General of India. In this way, this was the administrative units, these three presidencies. And now we'll discuss about the justice system, right? So let's discuss in detail. And now we'll discuss about justice system. The justice system under the British, it was divided into two parts. There were two kinds of courts: criminal courts and civil courts. Criminal courts were known as Faujdari Adalats and civil courts were known as Diwani Adalats. And Maulvis and Pandits used to interpret the Indian laws. They used to interpret the Indian laws to help the European district collectors. So that the justice system means it could be run very in very good manners or effectively, right? Criminal courts were still under Qazis and Muftis, and they used to work under the supervision of collectors, and civil courts also were under the supervision or presided by collectors. So you have to remember all the things. Justice system was divided into two parts: criminal courts and civil courts, and the rules and regulations or Indian laws were interpreted by Maulvis and Pandits, right? Indian laws, because they had the good knowledge of Indian laws, and to help European district collectors. And civil courts were under the presidency or presided by collectors, and Qazis and Muftis used to work under the supervision of collectors, and they were leading the criminal courts. They were had the overriding over criminal courts. Now we'll discuss about other reforms in the administration system. You know that Maulvis and Brahmin Pandits were given the task to interpretation of the laws. But what was the problem? There was a big problem. That problem was that different Pandits and Brahmins used to give the different interpretation of the Indian laws on the basis of different kinds of Dharmashastras, right? So to solve this problem, the British administration gave this task to bring about uniformity in 1775 to 11 Pandits, right? 11 Pandits were given this task, and they were asked to compile a digest of Hindu laws, right, to maintain the uniformity. And this digestion of Hindu laws was translated by N.W. Hallett into English. It was translated into English, and by 1778, in the same way, like in Hindus, like in same way in 1778 Code of Muslim laws was also completed by Maulvis, and this was also implemented by British administrators. One more reform was there in 1773. Supreme Court was set up in Calcutta. Supreme Court was set up in Calcutta, and with this Court of Appeal also was set up. Sadar Nizamat Adalat, right? It was also called Sadar Nizamat Adalat. It was Court of Appeal. So this was about the reforms under the justice system. As we have studied that collector had very important role, and he played very important role in maintenance of administration system under the British. So collector, as the name is indicating, to collect. His main work was to collect revenue and taxes, right, and maintain the law and order in the district, right, with the help of police officers, darogas, and judges, etc. And the office of collector was known as collectorate. What was not known as collectorate. So in this way, the question can be asked that who was collector and what were the functions of collector, you can easily explain. Now let's discuss about company's army of company. So to discuss about the company's army, we have to understand the army structure under the Mughals, right? What was the army structure of Mughal? It was based on cavalry, right, means army, soldiers. There were two kinds of soldiers in Mughal army. Sawars. These soldiers used to sit on the horseback, and they were trained people. They were trained in archery, tirandazi called, and sword means use of sword. In infantry, paidal sipahi or sainiks, like that, on foot soldiers, infantry, and they were also means little bit trained, but they could fight with bravery under the Mughal. Later, one more thing in the Mughal army was that whenever they needed, means local zamindars and landlords and subedars used to provide the local soldiers as peasants and other people to Mughal emperors whenever they required. So let's discuss something more about company's army system. Now we'll discuss something more about the company system. So before that, we have to understand in 18th century, right, what change occurred there. In 18th century, the successor of Mughal state, Awadh and Benares, implemented a new system in their army, that they started to recruit peasants and farmers into their armies, right, and they started to train them like professional soldiers. So the same system was adopted by the company. I hope that you are getting my point. Means the change was that the Mughal Empire successor states like Awadh and Benares means started a new system to recruit the peasants and farmers in their armies, and they started to train them like professional soldiers. The same system was adopted by the company, by the British company, and they made this Sepoy army. Sepoy means it derived from like Sipahi word used in India. Sipahi means soldier. So the same kinds of system was adopted by the company, and the company also trained these kinds of peasants and farmers, those who were recruited in the army, and they made as professional soldiers. In 19th century, the British company made it a uniform military army, means it implemented the system in the uniformity in the military culture. So this was known as uniform military culture. Okay, and later on the British company reformed its army by increasing the technology, right, in the late 18th century. Till the late 18th century means after 1850 or 1858, it increased the technology, the use of technology in their army, and gave the modern kinds of training to the soldiers. So in this way they reformed, they implemented so many reforms in their army, and they increased the status of their army. So this was about the company's army system. We have discussed today setting up a new administration in which we have got the knowledge about the justice system, about the army system and the administrative units. I hope that you understood all these concepts and the topics. You have to revise, watch this video again. If you have any kind of doubt, you can ask me by writing in the comment box. Thank you. Have a nice day.